This page is the cover of the April 11, 1997 issue, highlighting a wave of new releases and major features. The cover art features characters likely from the games Virus and Quo Vadis 2, or Advanced World War. The main features include a new release rush, covering major titles like Super Robot Wars F, the highly anticipated Panzer Dragoon Saga, listed here by its Japanese name, Panzer Dragoon RPG, and J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2. There are also follow-up reports and strategy guides for games such as the mech strategy title Quo Vadis 2, the anime adaptation Martian successor Nadesico, and the fighting game Last Bronx. Additional strategy content covers Cyberbots, Hanagumi Tyson Columns, Neon Genesis, Evangelion Second Impression, and Pro Baseball Greatest 997, alongside a substantial feature on the GD.net online service. The magazine also previews or discusses games like Grandia, Silhouette Mirage, Slayers Royal, Chaos Seed, Baroque, and a title from the Lunar series. A prominent guide for Advanced World War Operation Planning Guide is also featured. The cover boasts the inclusion of popular mecha series Ideon and Evangelion in Super Robot Wars Fly, emphasizing its impressive cast. This page acts as a fun, interactive introduction, featuring a large yellow maze graphic that prompts the reader to warm up their mind. It showcases 3 different sports titles available on the Sega Saturn. Featured is Pro Baseball Greatest 997, presented as a revitalized entry where you can become a hero on the baseball field, complete with screenshots showing gameplay action and stadium selection. This game also received attention on the cover. Next up is Manx TT Superbike, billed as the ultimate real bike racing experience based on the famous Isle of Man TT race, designed to test your riding skills with realistic graphics. Lastly, J-League Victory Goal 97 is shown, offering a full simulation of the 1997 J-League season with all 17 clubs, emphasizing the strategic and technical depth required for victory. The page displays various team logos and in-game soccer action. The bottom of the page also includes a small puzzle related to the maze and shows the Sega Saturn console. This page features an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Phantom Black Base. It describes a dreamlike fantasy fishing adventure where the protagonist meets a fairy and embarks on a quest to catch a legendary 100 cm angler bass. Failing this task means being trapped in the dream world, turning the fishing trip into a grand adventure. The page is illustrated with anime-style art depicting the boy and a large bass, along with screenshots showing interactions with characters like a fairy, quirky environments, and actual fishing gameplay. It is presented as a unique fantasy fishing game and is currently available for 5,800 yen. This page features a look at the Sega Saturn game, Voice Idol Maniacs. Pool Bar Story. It's a simulation game starring popular voice actresses, presented here posing around a pool table. The feature highlights the game's release details for April 4, 1997, priced at 6,800 yen for a 2-disc Cree-Drom set, and mentions features like anime-style voice changes and bonus content. There's also information about a present campaign associated with the game. The right side serves as the magazine's table of contents for the April 11, 1997 issue. It lists major features on titles like Super Robot Wars F, Panzer Dragoon Saga, listed as a Basel, and J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2. Other notable games covered include Grandia, Baroque, Slayers Royal, Chaos Seed, Silhouette Mirage, and the MPEG version of Lunar, Silver Star Story. The issue also includes strategy guides for games such as Cyberbots and Sakura Wars, previews of new releases like Metal Slug and Command & Conquer, and standard magazine sections like rankings, reader columns, and a special appendix providing an operation planning guide for Advanced World War Millennium. This page delivers on the promise from the table of contents, diving deep into the newly announced Super Robot Wars F. Hailed as the series' largest scale and promising overwhelming quality, this is presented as the definitive edition of the franchise. The feature showcases screenshots of the turn-based strategy gameplay, with dynamic battle animations featuring iconic mechs. It highlights a shocking announcement regarding the game's potential release date on July 25th, and features the inclusion of fan-favorite Evangelion Unit 01, declaring its liftoff. Game details like the publisher and genre are also listed alongside vibrant artwork of the robot lineup. This coverage makes it clear that Sega Saturn owners should be incredibly excited for this massive entry in the Super Robot Wars saga. The next page delves deeper into Super Robot Wars Saga, introducing 3 hugely anticipated new series joining the fight on Saturn. Neon Genesis Evangelion is front and center, showcasing Unit 01 battling an angel, and including pilot details like Rei Ayanami with her Unit 00. The legendary giant robots Ideon and Gunbuster also make their explosive debut, featured with battle screenshots and pilot portraits, highlighting the game's expanded roster of powerful mechs. The page rounds out with a brief look back at the Super Robot Wars series history, touching upon key previous titles on various platforms. This page dives into Super Robot Wars Flow, showcasing why it's considered the strongest entry in the series. It kicks off with the iconic clash between Master Gundam and God Gundam, highlighting the excitement for fans of mobile fighter J Gundam. The review emphasizes that this isn't just a port of the previous 4th game. It features a completely original story separate from the Super Famicom and PlayStation versions, boasting an unprecedented volume of scenarios with over 110 total. Graphics and combat effects have been specifically improved for the Saturn, with flashy cutscenes and smoother animation. A major draw is the absolutely massive character roster, the largest in the series to date, bringing in fan favorites from Mobile Suit Gundam W, such as Wing Gundam Zero and the cheerful Reaper duo Maxwell, alongside nearly all units from the previous 4th, and new additions from series like Evangelion, Ideon, and Gunbuster. Finally, the page celebrates the luxurious voice acting, featuring over 130 voice actors bringing over 250 characters to life during combat, and potentially adding more voiced interactions. The page includes various character art and battle screenshots, including the popular Huckabine original mech, and units from Dunbine, LGAIM, and Gundam 0083. The highly anticipated Panzer Dragoon Saga, the 3rd installment in the series, is a surprising departure from the previous 3D rail shooters. This RPG, targeting a summer release, places players in a world thousands of years after a golden age, where humans battle mutated creatures. The story follows protagonist Edge, a 15-year-old hunter seeking revenge after a traumatic Empire-related event. Key characters include Kramen, a rebellious Empire elite, and the mysterious demi-human, Akazel. The game promises to expand upon the existing world and characters, particularly focusing on the relationships between these key figures. This page dives deeper into Panzer Dragoon Saga's transformation into an RPG. It highlights the fully polygonal world, showcasing detailed city streets and expansive fields you'll explore. Movement in the field involves riding your dragon, blending the series' signature flight with RPG exploration, a fascinating mix of the old STG roots and the new genre. The page also touches on the combat and growth systems, though keeps them somewhat mysterious, showing a battle screenshot and a unique use element. A fan-favorite character, Labyrinth, is confirmed to return. An interview with the design director, Manabu Kumaki, and programmer, Hideyuki Takeuchi, explains the decision to make the game an RPG, emphasizing exploration of the world, the scale of content, and the commitment to full 3D graphics to immerse players in the environment. They discuss moving away from a purely rail shooter to allow for more freedom and story depth. The next page announces J.League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru 2, the highly anticipated sequel to the club management simulation game. This follow-up expands significantly on the original, allowing players to build and nurture their very own J.League team from the ground up, driven by overwhelming user demand. The core gameplay involves managing all aspects of a soccer club, from training players and setting tactics, to handling club finances and building facilities like a clubhouse and power gym. The game features enhanced graphics, with detailed polygon models bringing the matches and environments to life. You'll select a hometown from various regions, influencing your club's identity and support base. A key new feature highlighted is the detailed player editing system, allowing deeper customization of your squad. An interview with the development team reveals their focus on implementing features requested by players. They discuss the evolution from the first game, emphasizing the depth of player editing and the importance of hometown integration. The goal is to create a more immersive simulation experience where players feel truly connected to their club and city. This page continues the feature on J.League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru 2, showcasing the detailed stadium management interface where you can invest in facilities and build your club's influence in the local area. It also highlights the extensive player edit feature, allowing deep customization of your squad members' appearance and attributes, a significant expansion for the sequel. The interview continues, delving into the developer's focus on responding to player feedback and improving the simulation depth. The right side is a dynamic collage centered around GDNet, an initiative featuring a collective of game developers collaborating to bring a powerful lineup of titles to the Sega Saturn. Prominent studios involved include Game Arts, Sting, Neverland Company, Treasure, Alpha System, and others, signaling a concerted effort to deliver high-quality experiences. The page title declares, "The strongest lineup is assembled. The time is ripe," emphasizing the growing momentum for the console. The contents section previews some of the exciting games covered, such as Grandia from Game Arts, Baroque from Sting, Slayers Royal from Kadokawa Shoten, Chaos Seed, Feng Shui Chronicle from Neverland Company, Silhouette Mirage from Treasure, and Mahu Gakuen Lunar from Kadokawa Shoten. This section sets the stage for exploring these promising upcoming Saturn releases. This page continues the feature on Grandia, a cornerstone title presented by Game Arts as part of the GDNet initiative to bolster the Sega Saturn's library. It prominently reveals the main heroine, Fina, known as Ryete in Japan, a mysterious and beautiful girl who plays a crucial role in guiding Justin on his adventure. The page showcases a vibrant full-body illustration of Fina, alongside numerous in-game sprite animations, demonstrating her actions and expressions, highlighting her dynamic portrayal. New screenshots are heavily featured, offering glimpses of the world map style, encounters with formidable enemies like the Gigantes, and exploration scenes within the game world. A dedicated profile section provides details about Fina, including her mysterious origins linked to ancient civilization, how she encounters Justin in the depths of a ruin, and her role in supporting and perhaps leading him. The page emphasizes the richness of her character through the various visual assets presented. A basic overview of the game genre is also included. This page continues the in-depth look at Grandia, highlighting the game's focus on high-degree action and exciting combat sequences. The article reiterates that this is an action-heavy RPG, where players navigate fields and dungeons in real time from an isometric perspective, emphasizing the dynamic camera work shown in the screenshots of a thrilling minecart sequence. Key characters are introduced through dedicated character sections. The brave young adventurer, Justin, is profiled as a 14-year-old who dreams of following in his explorer father's footsteps and embarking on a world-spanning journey. Also featured is Sue, Justin's childhood friend and neighbor, described as a sensible 8-year-old who looks after him and is often seen with her mysterious pet bird, Puffy. New screenshots showcase various locations, including the bustling town of New Parm and mysterious ancient ruins. A large combat screenshot takes center stage, illustrating the active battle system. It shows the party of 3, Justin, Fina, and Sue, engaging enemies, displaying their HP and levels, and highlighting the IP gauge which dictates turn order and skill execution. The article notes the party composition in the screenshot is likely temporary. The visuals emphasize the detailed sprite work and vibrant world design players can expect. The next page dives deeper into the world of Grandia, showcasing several key locations and introducing a significant character. The primary focus is on the diverse environments Justin and his companions will explore. We see the ferry ship, a vital mode of transport connecting the starting town of Parm with the bustling city of New Parm. Screenshots show its exterior and interior, highlighting the game's detailed environments. The article also features the mysterious Salt Ruins, described as the resting place of an ancient civilization, where Justin will face traps and puzzles. We get a glimpse of the Lek Mine, an abandoned mine where strange things are afoot, hinted to be a potential boss battle location. Adding conflict to the adventure is the introduction of the Garlisle Forces, a powerful private army with advanced military technology. Their base, filled with tanks and other vehicles, is shown. Finally, a mysterious ghost ship is previewed, promising classic adventure tropes and treasure hunting. The page concludes with a character file on Colonel Mullen, a key figure in the Garlisle Forces and likely a major rival for Justin. Described as the son of Baal and a skilled commander, his profile adds depth to the game's cast and narrative. This page features the enigmatic 3D RPG, Baroque, developed by Sting, the company behind Treasure Hunter G. The article highlights the game's distinctively dark and distorted worldview, offering a thorough analysis. The core premise centers around a protagonist who has lost his memory and seeks redemption by journeying to a holy land. This quest takes him into the ever-changing Neuro Tower. The game world and the tower itself are described as twisted, born from a mysterious phenomenon called The Great Heatwave. Gameplay involves exploring the Neuro Tower in real time, engaging in battles with bizarre creatures, and interacting with NPCs. A key mechanic discussed is the dynamic nature of the tower's structure, which changes with each playthrough, suggesting that discoveries from previous attempts can help in future runs. Item effects are also highlighted as unpredictable, changing depending on how they are used. The page showcases character art of the protagonist and an upper angel, along with screenshots of the Neuro Tower's exterior and interior environments, emphasizing the game's unique visual style and oppressive atmosphere. It also touches on the backstory of the Great Heatwave and the strange events leading up to it. This page delves deeper into the world of Baroque, specifically focusing on the combat and the strange beings within the Neuro Tower. Combat is a tense, 360-degree affair, where you purify the grotesque deformed creatures using the purification mirror. The article introduces significant subcharacters whose roles are unclear, potentially allies or foes, including the mysterious Alicia, the graceful Eliza who asks for a unique kind of water, the small floating creature called Little who seems to observe everything, and the imposing Archangel who may have a connection to other higher angels. You also get a showcase of the bizarre enemies you'll encounter, featuring detailed artwork of creatures like Tank Joe, a wheeled armament, the upside-down hangwands, and the disturbing conjoined Necrococteau, alongside various other distorted forms. Finally, the page includes an interview with Takehiko Yamato, the representative director of Sting, the developer behind Treasure Hunter GIG.
Yamato shares insights into Sting's background and his vision for Baroque, describing its uniquely dark and complex worldview, and the design philosophy emphasizing player freedom and a dynamic, mysterious world.
This page provides an update on the development of Slayers Royal, a simulation RPG for the Sega Saturn. The article announces the official title and showcases new game screens. The report highlights the inclusion of the main characters from the original Slayers series, featuring introductions for Lena Inverse, Guri Gabriev, Amelia Wiltesla Seirun, and Zelgadis Greywords. It also introduces Lark, an original character for the game.
Gameplay is shown progressing in town via an adventure-style interface where players click icons to interact. World map movement is also depicted, allowing travel between different locations. A humorous scene featuring Lena and Narga is shown, complete with Narga's lengthy and amusing explanation of her motivations, which primarily revolve around money and food. The page confirms the game is a simulation RPG and is currently in development. This page continues the coverage of Slayers Royal, delving deeper into its simulation RPG gameplay. The focus is on the chaotic but exciting combat, where powerful spells like Dragon Slave and Earthshock Lightning can hit both allies and enemies, a unique twist embraced by characters like Lena. Several action screenshots show the grid-based battles and the visual effects of spells cast by Lena, Naga, and Zelgadis. The page also features an interview with the original author, Hajime Kanzaka, who discusses the game's completely original storyline and the introduction of a new character, Lark. Kanzaka provides insights into the future of the Slayers series, mentioning projects like Slayers GIG and Slayers Try. It's clear the game aims to deliver a fresh experience for fans while staying true to the series' humor and action. The developer's playful attitude even shows up in the minor details and descriptions. This page features a detailed look at Chaos Seed, Feng Shui Chronicle, a game that expertly blends simulation, action, and RPG elements. It's presented as a game seeking a more dedicated user base, previously appearing on the Super Famicom. The core gameplay revolves around using Feng Shui principles to build and manage your cave or base. The simulation aspect involves strategically placing rooms, managing resources like energy and material, and leveraging Feng Shui alignments to gain advantages. This is crucial for developing a powerful base capable of production and defense. The RPG element comes into play through character development. You level up your main character and companions by gaining experience from defeating invaders. As characters grow, their stats increase, and they learn new skills and magic, allowing you to equip better gear and enhance their combat prowess. Finally, the action component involves real-time combat against enemies attempting to invade your base. You directly control characters to fight off these intruders, using a variety of attacks and abilities. The page highlights the dynamic nature of these battles within the rooms you've built. The overall goal is tied to the story, which involves revitalizing a weakened land through the power of Feng Shui and developing your base and characters to achieve this. The screenshots showcase the sprite-based isometric view for base management and combat, alongside key character artwork. It's a unique mix of genres that offers strategic depth and real-time excitement.
This page features continued coverage of Chaos Seed, and a major feature on Treasure's Silhouette Mirage for the Saturn. The Chaos Seed section details its multi-scenario system, where choices during events and conversations significantly alter the narrative path. An interview with Neverland Company developers discusses the game's creation and specific changes for the Saturn version. The main spotlight, however, falls upon Treasure's latest work, Silhouette Mirage, presented as their second Sega Saturn title after Guardian Heroes. The game is a stylish 2D action shooter praised for Treasure's signature technical prowess. The article highlights their use of dynamic sprite manipulation techniques, including scaling and rotation, recalling the energy of titles like Gunstar Heroes and Dynamite Headdy. Screenshots showcase intense boss encounters and elaborate level designs, emphasizing the visual spectacle and demanding action Treasure is known for, tailored to exceed fan expectations. This page dives deeper into the mechanics of Treasure's intense, 2D action game, Silhouette Mirage. It explains the core concept of the two attributes, Silhouette and Mirage, which govern the world and its inhabitants, including the protagonist, Shina. Moving left or right changes Shina's attribute, and attacking enemies with the opposing attribute is crucial for dealing significant damage.
Same attribute attacks are ineffective.
The page also details the game's interface, showcasing the physical gauge for health and the spirit gauge needed for using special attacks like bombs, referred to here as parasites. Actions beyond basic shooting include sliding, grappling to steal main, the in-game currency, and utilizing the parasite system. These parasites are purchasable upgrades that enhance Shina's shots, adding layers of strategy to combat. An interview with key Treasure developers, including President Masaru Maeda and director Koichi Kimura, provides insight into their design choices. They express their unwavering passion for 2D actions, explaining it allows them to focus purely on gameplay and creating impactful experiences. They also touch upon the development challenges on the Saturn and highlight that despite a relatively small team, they are dedicated to delivering polished, high-quality games, continuing the legacy of their 2D masterpieces like Gunstar Heroes. Treasure's focus remains firmly on crafting thrilling, technical 2D action that keeps players engaged. This page introduces Lunar, Magic School, an RPG for the Sega Saturn that remakes the Game Gear original. It shifts the focus from saving the world to enjoying school life at a magic academy on the island of Yen. Players explore dungeons, defeat monsters, and interact with fellow students and teachers in a relaxed setting. The Saturn version boasts significant upgrades, including enhanced graphics, increased content, and completely new anime sequences. The story is presented in an omnibus format, akin to a TV anime series. Battles feature cooperative magic attacks between party members, adding strategic depth. Key characters highlighted include the energetic protagonist Ellie, the cool but clumsy Win, and the cheerful childhood friend, Lena. The page also features villains, like the revived Devil King Zophar, and the antagonist group, led by the mysterious Altena. Notably, the game was also adapted into a theatrical anime film. Additionally, there's a brief mention of the MPEG version of Lunar, Silver Star Story, featuring remade anime scenes from the original PlayStation classic. This page covers two main topics. On the left, there's a feature on GDNet, showcasing various developers like Alpha System, Quintet, and others, discussing their current projects and future plans related to the Saturn network service. The main highlight is a special report on Virus, an exciting near-future sci-fi adventure game born from a major collaboration between Hudson, Sega, and Avex. This title promises a stunning blend of traditional animation and impressive 3D CG visuals, set in a 22nd century world where humanity relies on a vast cyber network. Players will step into the shoes of a cyber police investigator, uncovering a mystery within this digital realm. The game features a unique hybrid structure, mixing cinematic sequences with interactive real-time gameplay, and explores a society where human and machines seamlessly merge. Screenshots reveal detailed CG environments, hinting at the game's atmospheric setting. This page dives deeper into the highly anticipated title, Virus. Following up on the announcement details, the top section focuses on the game's enemy boss creatures, showcasing incredible CG models designed by the legendary monster artist Yasushi Nirasawa. Known for his work across various media, Nirasawa brings his unique style to these mechanical and unsettling foes, realized with stunning detail in the game's visuals. The report on the virus announcement event continues, highlighting the collaborative effort between Hudson, Sega, and Avex. Key figures from each company, including Hudson president Yuji Kudo and Sega's head of consumer software, were present to discuss the project's innovative approach, generating significant excitement among attendees. Adding to the game's appeal, the popular duo Favorite Blue is revealed to be handling the theme song. Further into the page, we get an exclusive look behind the scenes, with interviews from the development team, including producer Akimoto and director Masahiro Shimura. They discuss the game's fascinating 22nd century setting, centered around a vast computer network, and the unique virus enemy concept. The developers detail the hybrid gameplay structure, blending cinematic movie battles with real-time action, and incorporating elements of adventure, puzzle solving, and dynamic camera work. They also tease the large cast of characters, and the secrecy surrounding the voice actors, adding to the game's mystique. Virus is shaping up to be a truly unique and ambitious title, pushing the boundaries of interactive entertainment. This page announces the sudden decision to release the latest entry in the classic Contra series, titled Contra: Legacy of War. Developed using polygons, the game features 3D graphics and spans 6 diverse stages.
The core premise involves stopping a group plotting world domination using aliens. Players can choose from 4 distinct characters, each possessing different abilities. Ray, the soldier; CD-288, the combat robot; Tasha, the mercenary; and Bubba, the alien. Gameplay involves standard Contra action like shooting, jumping, and using a prone stance to evade attacks. The environments showcased include detailed cityscapes and dense jungles. Screenshots reveal large-scale boss battles against intimidating foes, as well as glimpses of hidden areas and minigames, adding variety to the experience. A notable feature highlighted is a special 3D mode available in the PlayStation version, allowing players to experience the game's depth using 3D glasses. The game is set to be released in May by Konami. This page unveils Excel's debut on the Sega Saturn with an urgent announcement for their first title, a psycho-horror adventure tentatively titled Maria. The game is built with full polygon graphics and centers around the theme of multiple personalities. Players step into the shoes of a young doctor tasked with counseling Maria, a 16-year-old girl suffering from this condition, aiming to piece together her fragmented memories and resolve the underlying trauma. The gameplay focuses on interactive counseling sessions and dialogue choices that influence the narrative and branching paths. Unlike traditional adventure games, it de-emphasizes item collection and complex puzzles, prioritizing psychological depth and character interaction through text-based conversation. The developers are particularly proud of the detailed polygon graphics and the effort put into conveying nuanced human emotions and expressions, which they consider crucial for the game's theme. Interviews with key staff members from Break, the development team, discuss the origins of the concept and the challenges of creating believable character models and animations. This page features Excel's upcoming release, the psychological adventure game Maria, for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn. The striking imagery highlights the protagonist, a young woman with glowing eyes surrounded by dark, ominous figures, hinting at the game's theme of multiple personalities and psychological horror previously discussed. It confirms the tentative title Maria and announces the planned release date of December 12, 1997, for 6,800 yen, excluding tax. The developer is listed as Axela. The right side of the page promotes a strategy guide or technique book titled Dai Gigarin 97 Spring Edition. It boasts including over 10,000 ultra techniques or strategies. This guide is priced at 990 yen and was released on April 2nd. It covers techniques for multiple consoles including Nintendo 64, Super Famicom, Virtual Boy, Game Boy, Famicom, Neo Geo, Saturn, Mega Drive, PlayStation, PCFX, and PC Engine. It is published by Tokuma Shuten Intermedia. This page is a vibrant advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Kakusei, developed by Elf. The page features a dynamic arrangement of scattered illustrations, showcasing various female characters from the game in different settings, suggesting a visual novel or dating simulation experience. Prominently displayed is the game's title in bold red Japanese characters. A large illustration on the right depicts a purple-haired girl in a school uniform, walking with a school bag, which appears to be the main heroine. A yellow circle highlights the release information, stating the game went on sale on April 25, 1997, for 7,800 yen,
excluding tax. The presence of an 18+ age restriction further confirms the game's mature content, typical of ELF's dating sim titles from this era. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Graduation Crossworld, scheduled for release on March 28, 1997, with a standard price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The game is described as a multi-scenario adventure featuring beautiful graphics. It brings together 10 popular characters from the Graduation and Graduation 2 series, and adds 2 new characters for the Saturn version. Exclusive features for the Sega Saturn include new endings for characters like Katu, Takagi, Ishibashi, Inuzuka, and Cindy, the realization of a dream to complete all characters, and original, newly recorded voice drama included in the game. The page prominently displays numerous female characters in school uniforms, both in profile and full face. Screenshots and illustrations show a school setting and potentially a travel destination like Rio de Janeiro, highlighting the new endings and voice drama content. A lottery promotion for voice panels is also mentioned. This page features Quo Vadis 2, Over the Ray, a simulation RPG for the Sega Saturn. The main illustration shows several large, imposing mechs and a group of human characters in a rugged landscape. The game promises a fusion of anime and gameplay, offering large-scale strategic simulation where you command an assault armor unit. Key features include over 70 stages, more than 50 characters, and numerous weapons, with full-size anime cutscenes integrated into the story. The game follows the protagonist, Ovan, 10 years after a major incident, embroiled in guerrilla warfare and uncovering the truth. The page lists the development staff and the voice cast.
Quo Vadis 2 was scheduled for release on April 4, 1997, priced at 6,800 yen.
There is also information about a related radio drama and music release. This page features Tokimeki Memorial Selection, Fujisaki Shiori, a unique release centered around the popular character Shiori Fujisaki from the dating simulation classic, Tokimeki Memorial. The page showcases a large illustration of Shiori and highlights this software as a private software just for Fujisaki Shiori fans. It includes features like music clips and a private date experience, offering fans a chance to spend more time with the character. The software was available for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn, priced at 2,800 yen. The page also mentions the release of Shiori's first album, My Sweet Valentine. To the right is a postcard section for a reader survey and gift application, listing various game titles including Standby Say You, Panel de Pon, known internationally as Tetris Attack, and Worms, among others, as prizes. The bottom section promotes the Tokyo Game Show 97 spring event. This page centers around the Saturn Kingdom, a section packed with information and reader interactions. On the left is a large postcard section allowing readers to submit their rankings of favorite Sega Saturn games, along with their personal details and comments for various columns. The News Dynamite corner brings the latest buzz surrounding the Saturn, covering lively topics and news. Further down, an event section details an online Cyber Troopers Virtuon tournament held over X-Band and SegaNet, showcasing players battling to be Japan's best Virtuoid pilot. The schedule for the preliminary and main rounds is laid out, mentioning prizes like Virtuon stickers for participants. Another event highlighted is the monthly Sega Saturn Festa at Tokyo Joyopolis Arcade, held every third Sunday. This festa is a treat for fans, offering hands-on demos of popular Saturn games like J-League Big Goal 97 and Cyber Troopers Virtualon, opportunities to get Sega Saturn goods, and even meet Sega development staff who discuss games, including titles like Panzer Dragoon Saga. The page also lists upcoming events featuring games such as Mr. Bones and Pro Baseball Greatest 997. Overall, the page aims to be a comprehensive hub for Saturn news and fan engagement. This page provides the latest buzz and news for Sega Saturn fans, starting with a look at new merchandise like a Puyo Puyo keyholder minigame, a neat spin on the Tamagotchi craze. The video section announces an original video animation series for the highly popular Sakura Wars, covering events set before the game, offering fans a deeper dive into the story. The pickup section highlights new music and drama crids, including a single for the Tamagotchi phenomenon and a drama CD set based on the classic Macross series. The News Dynamite Present section gives readers a chance to win exclusive items, featuring merchandise from the shooting game Jig Darius, an autographed board from K1 Fighter Anti-Fug, goods related to Ina's fantasy stories, and the soundtrack for Zero Yon Champ Doozy Typer. Further reports cover events like the SNK Live Tour 97 convention in Tokyo, showcasing new games such as Samurai Showdown 64 and featuring cosplayers and radio recordings. There's also a spotlight on the Tsuchipai radio show featuring the game's voice actresses. A voice idol piece focuses on voice actress Yuka Imai and her role in Dungeon Savior. More giveaways include invitations to a release event for the game Tenchi Muyo Rensa Hitsuyu. The page also notes new music releases like the Darius series soundtrack and a novel based on the game, Doku Usei. Finally, the bottom features lists of winners from recent reader surveys. This page presents a massive database, meticulously cataloging every Sega Saturn game released in Japan from the console's launch on November 22, 1994, up to March 27, 1997. It proudly boasts a total of 552 titles covered within this time frame. The data, compiled partly from reader feedback, is organized by genre, making it easy to browse the extensive library. The database sections break down the titles into categories like fighting action, including Virtua Fighter, Street Fighter Alpha, and King of Fighters. Action, featuring classics like Nights into Dreams, Guardian Heroes, and Rayman. Simulation, such as Shining Force and Mobile Suit Gundam. Role-playing, covering Grandia, Dragon Force, and Shining Wisdom. 2D shooting, like Gradius and Dodonpachi. 3D shooting, including Panzer Dragoon and Virtual On. And adventure, listing titles like Myst and Sakura Wars. Each entry includes the game's title, publisher, release date, price, and compatibility with various peripherals. A key provides abbreviations for these supported devices, like the multi-controller, mission stick, and racing controller. This comprehensive listing serves as an invaluable reference for any Saturn enthusiast wanting to explore the console's rich early history. This page continues the extensive Sega Saturn database, presenting further categories of games released up to early 1997. It meticulously lists titles with details like publisher, release date, price, and peripheral compatibility. You'll find a large section dedicated to racing games, featuring titles like Sega Rally Championship, Daytona USA, and Outrun. Sports games are also well represented, including Virtua Fighter Remix, Victory Goal, and Derby Stallion. The database then dives into table games like Mahjong, puzzle games showcasing titles such as Baku Baku Animal and Shanghai, CG Collection, which includes various CG art compilations, and other titles covering a diverse range not fitting neatly into other categories. Finally, there's a section for education/database software. This page provides a fantastic snapshot of the Saturn's diverse library, highlighting the breadth of genres available to Japanese players during this period. It's a valuable reference for understanding the system's evolution and the types of experiences available beyond the major hits. This page features a comprehensive reader survey and prize giveaway. It encourages readers to answer questions about their gaming habits, demographics, and opinions on the magazine's content using numbered options from several accompanying tables. The tables list the articles in the current issue, various gaming magazines, different console platforms, and a vast collection of Sega Saturn software titles. Readers are asked to select their favorites, owned items, desired items, and rate aspects of gameplay for games they've played. As a reward for participation, the magazine is offering software prizes, including titles like Quo Vadis, Chaos Seed, Contra Legacy of War, Quo Vadis 2, Shin Kaitei Gunkan, Deep Sea Warship, and Command & Conquer. They are also giving away Quo Vadis 2 telephone cards. The survey is a great way for the magazine to gather valuable feedback from its readership while giving back to the community with desirable prizes. It highlights the diverse range of Saturn software available at the time, from strategy and action to real-time strategy. This page serves as a detailed strategy guide and data breakdown for the simulation game Advanced World War, Millennium Empire. Presented as a Game Research Institute analysis, it aims to provide players with key tactics, unit data, and commander development strategies to excel at this groundbreaking title. The guide covers fundamental battle concepts, how to train commanders effectively, methods for avoiding unfavorable encounters, utilizing specific unit types like air units for long-range attacks and reconnaissance vehicles, and breakthrough strategies for maps with limited turns. It also touches upon managing crucial resources or points like FPW, and the importance of strategic unit destruction. Detailed tables showcase the special abilities and acquisition methods for both Army and Air Force commanders, listing various skills and their effects on combat or unit performance. Another section provides a comprehensive look at how unit parameters increase upon leveling up, offering a deep dive into the numerical progression of military power. Supporting screenshots illustrate battle results, unit information, and graphical representations of strategic concepts. Overall, this page is a resource for serious players looking to master the intricate mechanics and strategic depth of Advanced World War. Millennium Empire.
This page presents detailed unit data for the German Army and common units within Advanced World War. Millennium Empire, including stats for movement, offense, defense, and required resources, alongside a guide on how to interpret the information.
This page provides extensive data for Advanced World War. Millennium Empire, focusing on air units and their weapons. It features a table detailing the basic stats for various aircraft types, from fighters to transports, including their movement, attack, defense, and resource costs. A significant portion is dedicated to a comprehensive weapon data table, listing numerous weapons with their range, power against different target types, infantry, vehicles, air, navy, and compatibility. Additionally, there's a tactical guide on choosing the best weapons for air units depending on the situation, alongside screenshots showcasing specific bomb types like incendiary and SPOMs, noting their suitability for ground attacks and potential for night missions. The next page dives into the world of cyberbots. Full Metal Madness, offering a strategic breakdown. It highlights the 3 variable armors, VAS, exclusive to the Saturn version, Devilot, Shade, and Helion. The guide explains the conditions required to unlock these powerful VAS, primarily clearing the arcade mode with specific characters. A significant portion focuses on Helion, detailing its unique ability to transform into a flight mode and presenting its special move commands and corresponding button inputs. Screenshots showcase Helion in action, demonstrating its aerial capabilities and powerful attacks like the God Krag missile. The page also briefly announces the winners of a contest from the magazine's 100th issue celebration. This page continues the tactical breakdown of cyberbots. Full Metal Madness, offering fundamental strategies for versus play aimed at beginners. It profiles 2 specific variable armors, VAS, Gates, P10033, and Super 8, SO08. Gates is described as a well-balanced, easy-to-lace VA, with attacks like the Energy Shot and the Teleporting Fugitive move. Its special move commands, including the unique question mark attack and the Cyber X finisher, are outlined, accompanied by screenshots showing Gates in combat. The page then introduces Super 8, Devilot's signature octopus-like VA. It highlights Super 8's unique design and performance, noting its array of 8 command special moves, such as Red Omega and Final Zero, and its powerful Cyber X attack. Screenshots demonstrate Super 8's distinct fighting style.
Beyond specific VAs, the guide provides general tips on mastering combat mechanics. It explains the effective use of the weapon button for long-range attacks and pressure, the strategic application of the boost system for movement and positioning, and techniques for safe wake-up after being knocked down. Finally, it covers the core attack system, detailing normal attacks, chain combos, special moves, and the ability to power charge, using screenshots to illustrate these concepts.
This page continues the tactical guide for cyberbots. Full Metal Madness, focusing on offensive, defensive, and advanced techniques. It advises players to prioritize attacking and combos, striking when opponents leave openings for throws. Effective use of the Cyber X finisher is highlighted for dealing significant damage. The guide then delves into defensive play, emphasizing the importance of reading opponent movements and finding opportunities to counterattack, especially on wake-up. Utilizing boost movement for positioning and escape is also discussed. A significant portion breaks down strategies for fighting the computer opponent,
specifically detailing a walkthrough for Kagura Chiyomaru's scenario. It provides stage-by-stage advice against opponents like Gates, Gawain, Jin, Mary, Santana, and Arietta, offering tips on how to approach each fight. General advice for combattles includes avoiding reckless rushes and focusing on throws as a primary counterattack method. The page also touches upon using attack cancels to create quick, unexpected hits. Overall, the guide provides a practical roadmap for players looking to improve their game in cyberbots. The next page dives into the competitive world of Sakura Taisen columns, offering a guide to dominating battle mode. It emphasizes understanding the game state and aggressively pursuing chains, explaining how to create large combos, including utilizing diagonal arrangements and setting up accidental chains by dropping gems strategically. A key mechanic covered is the Hourglass gem, which transforms surrounding attack gems into regular gems when cleared,
providing crucial defense against incoming attacks. The guide also breaks down the unique characteristics of each Hanagumi member. It highlights how characters differ in base stats like attack power, block count, and defense power, which also scale up with the spirit level system. Each character has a distinct attack pattern when sending blocks to the opponent. The page provides specific strategies for characters like Iris, who excels at defense despite low attack, Kuran with her high block count, Sakura focused on counterattacks, Sumire with powerful level 3 attacks, Kana's destructive level 3 ability, and Maria specializing in quick, overwhelming attacks. Mastering each character's strengths and weaknesses, along with reading the opponent's actions and anticipating attacks, is key to victory in this fast-paced puzzle fighter. This page gives us the full breakdown on Neon Genesis Evangelion. Second impression, specifically focusing on the game's branching scenarios and multiple endings, particularly those centered around Rei Ayanami and the path leading to the Rei Moment of the Soul conclusion. The game features a story that changes based on your choices, dramatically expanding the possibilities, with 12 different potential subtitles or endings you can unlock. A big jump from the previous game. The guide walks you through critical decision points and character interactions needed to follow Rei's specific story arcs, emphasizing conversations at school, visits to Nerve HQ, and choices made during battles or dialogue with key figures like Gendo, Misato, and Kaji. It warns against making choices that upset Reis, or lead to less fulfilling outcomes, suggesting that focusing on a specific character's path is the way to see the best stories. Beyond the main gameplay, the page highlights cool unlockable extras that become available as you progress. There's an illustration library packed with promotional art and illustrations from magazines, and a karaoke mode featuring songs from the game, including tracks by the Earth Defense Band and other characters, complete with on-screen lyrics. This game is clearly a must-play for fans looking to explore different facets of the Evangelion story and unlock all the bonus content. This page delves into the intricacies of Greatest 997, specifically focusing on its deep team edit mode. The core of player creation lies in using keywords, which the developers explain can drastically affect a player's abilities, appearance, and even hidden stats. It's highlighted that understanding how these keywords combine is key to building a powerful custom team. The guide offers tips for navigating the keyword system, suggesting that while some keywords have obvious effects, others have subtle or surprising outcomes. It also touches upon the ability to acquire players from the game's featured 12 real-world professional teams and 2 original teams. A section on pitch reading is also included, explaining how the display helps you predict the pitcher's next throw. Finally, the page includes extensive player data tables for some of the teams, and brief comments from the game's development staff on their approach to creating the game. This page continues the deep dive into Greatest 997. This page presents extensive player data tables for several Japanese professional baseball teams in Greatest 997. Following the exploration of the team edit mode, this page provides comprehensive player statistics for multiple clubs featured in Greatest 997. It lays out detailed data for both pitchers and fielders from teams like the Hiroshima Toyo Carp, Yakult Swallows, Oryx Blue Wave, and others. For pitchers, stats include various pitch types, speed, stamina, and performance in pinch situations. Fielders are rated on defense, error potential, arm strength, speed, hitting contact, power, bunting, and fielding ability. These tables offer players serious insight into the strengths and weaknesses of each real-world team within the game, essential for strategizing and understanding how individual players will perform on the virtual diamond. Footnotes clarify the meaning of the various numerical ratings and symbols used. This page showcases Waku Waku 7, a vibrant 2D fighting game for the Sega Saturn from Sunsoft. It features colorful character artwork and small gameplay screenshots, highlighting its exciting action genre. The page announces the game's release date of April 25th. This page announces the Sega Saturn arrival of Farland Story, a well-regarded strategy RPG series. The page prominently features the game's anime-style artwork and provides glimpses of the strategic grid-based gameplay and character interactions through small screenshots. The text highlights the series as a masterpiece, now coming to the Saturn. The right side of the page hosts the Conehead Club, a community section where fans share their thoughts and experiences related to gaming, including letters and short comics. This page features the We Are Supporters section, a fan corner filled with reader artwork and comments dedicated to popular Sega Saturn games and franchises. Various clubs or committees are highlighted, including the Dragon Force Friends Association, sharing excitement for the series, and fan art. The EVA Complimentary Committee showcases art and thoughts on the Neon Genesis Evangelion game, reflecting on the anime's impact. The Lunar Magic Guild expresses anticipation for the next lunar installment, with lovely illustrations of characters. The Taigeki Imperial Guard section is dedicated to Sakura Wars fans, featuring character art and discussing the series' popularity. The Conehead Club's Tokimeki Lovers Association returns from the previous page, focusing on fan appreciation for Tokimeki Memorial through charming drawings. The My Absolute Favorite Game section presents reader endorsements for titles like the shooter Shinryu and the adventure game Blue Seed. Finally, the Sega AM Freak section celebrates Sega's arcade and AM division games like Daytona USA with dynamic fan art. The page is a vibrant display of fan passion and community surrounding Sega Saturn's diverse library.
This page continues the fan corner sections, kicking off with the Illust Gallery showcasing vibrant fan art for Sega Saturn hits like Sakura Wars, Langrisser 2i, and the adventure title Dark Hunter. We also see impressive renditions of characters from Nadeshiko and Shinrei Jusatsu Taromaru, demonstrating the diverse artistic talent within the community. Below that, the Cone Kids Network board features discussions among players. Readers weigh in on strategy for RPGs and adventure games, debating the usefulness of guides for titles such as Dragon Force and Shining the Holy Ark. There's also commentary on game mechanics and the impact of voice acting, reflecting passionate opinions on how these elements affect the gaming experience. The Transplant Wish Voices section reveals reader desires for future Saturn releases, including calls for more mature adventure games and mentions of highly anticipated or recently released visual novels like Eve and Yuno, highlighting the platform's growing strength in that genre. The Satafan Q&A offers insight into editor interactions with the fanbase, answering questions about the magazine and games. Finally, the Conehead Club introduces a section specifically for newcomers, centering on the ever-popular Sakura Wars series. This page presents Sega Saturn software rankings based on reader votes and sales data. The popularity ranking highlights diverse titles, including adventure games, fighters, and RPGs, with some non-Saturn games like Resident Evil 2 also appearing. The Transplant Wish ranking reveals strong desire for ports of PlayStation and Nintendo 64 hits, as well as arcade games. Saturn sales figures show Neon Genesis Evangelion, Second Impression consistently topping charts, along with other popular titles like Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 2Y. Finally, a retailer report from Chameleon Club Nakanobu confirms strong demand for Evangelion's Second Impression and fighting games like Act 1, alongside family-friendly and Sega Ages titles. This page presents the reader rankings and reviews for recent Sega Saturn game releases. Topping the chart is the adventure game Daitai I Love You, followed closely by Puyo Puyo Sun. Other games in the top 10 include Sega Ages, Fantasy Zone, Cleopatra Fortune, and Elevator Action Returns. Readers praise Daitai I Love You for its unique characters drawn by Takeshi Okabayashi and engaging story, though some note the lack of character variety not central to the main plot. Positive comments highlight the charming visuals and atmosphere, making it an enjoyable experience, despite some feeling the advertised content didn't fully match expectations. For Puyo Puyo Sun, players commend the enhanced chain reactions and new features, making the competitive gameplay more exciting. Reviews generally agree it's a solid Puyo Puyo entry, especially appreciated by fans, with some noting the visual improvements over previous versions. However, some found the sun mechanic confusing initially, and the loading times were a common point of criticism. The page includes a summary of the reader feedback used for the rankings, emphasizing that scores are based on submitted surveys for games released 2 weeks prior to the magazine's publication date. It also features brief comments directly from the game developers. This page continues the reader-voted Ranking Street feature, showcasing games from 3rd to 9th place. The bronze medal goes to Sega Ages Fantasy Zone, earning near-perfect reader scores for its spot-on arcade emulation and capturing the charm of the original. Players loved the faithful recreation of the unique graphics and memorable music. In 4th place is Roommate Ryoko Inoue, a conversation adventure game appreciated for its appealing character design and atmosphere, though some feedback noted repetitive dialogue or minor issues with the gameplay flow. Assault Suits Lanos 2 lands at number 5. This mecha action title was praised for its detailed graphics and intense battles, but some players found the controls cumbersome, particularly weapon switching,
and noted difficulty spikes.
Sixth place is Zap. Snowboarding Trisix, a simple and accessible snowboarding racer that newcomers enjoyed, although veteran players felt it lacked depth compared to other titles. Cleopatra Fortune takes the 7th spot, a popular puzzle game praised for its addictive mechanics and charming presentation, though some players found the difficulty ramped up significantly in later stages. Ranking 8th is Elevator Action Returns. Fans enjoyed the intense action of this arcade port and the fun multiplayer, but criticisms centered on the sometimes relentless difficulty and limited credits, making it a challenging experience to finish. Finally, rounding out the list at 9th is Batman Forever, the arcade game. Reviews were mixed, with some finding the beat-em-up action repetitive and the visuals not living up to expectations. This page continues the rankings, starting with number 10, WWF In Your House. Readers found it generally enjoyable as a wrestling game, though some felt the command inputs were simple and the visuals weren't spectacular. Players who aren't die-hard wrestling fans might still find fun in the simple controls and flashy moves. Sliding in at number 11 is the visual novel, Amaji Shion. Fans were drawn to the mystery-adventure aspect and liked the atmosphere and character designs. However, some felt the cast was unknown and the voice acting could be improved. But overall, the story and multiple endings were appreciated. The page also features the 19th installment of the Sega CS Development Room Diary, delving into secrets of Pro Yaku Greatest 997, specifically highlighting the Otori Knights team and its members. There's also a section showcasing a sound director profile, Mr. Hiroshi Murasaki, listing his impressive body of work on Sega titles. A communication corner for the popular Sakura Wars series is included, along with a call for readers to submit game reviews for various titles like Worms, Panel de Pon, Tetris Attack, and J-League Pro Victory Goal 97, among others. Finally, Sega is offering presents from the development room, featuring merchandise related to Evangelion Second Impression. This page is primarily dedicated to extensive reader-voted game rankings for Sega Saturn. The ranking report section highlights the strong performance of Neon Genesis, Evangelion Second Impression, and Sakura Wars, noting their popularity with voters. It also mentions Virtua Fighter 2's significant point fluctuation. The report explains a change in calculation for the cumulative Best 20 ranking, now based on the previous 12 issues, instead of all past points. The cumulative list features top titles like Sakura Wars, Tokimeki Memorial, and Street Fighter Alpha 2. The main section presents the real-time ranking based on votes received by February 21st, covering Saturn software released up to that date. This list ranks games based on reader reviews, tallying positive and negative points to determine the total score and approval rating. The top games in this issue's real-time ranking include Sakura Wars, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Death and Rebirth, Tokimeki Memorial, Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression, and The King of Fighters 96. The list extends to include hundreds of ranked games, reflecting the broad range of titles available and reader opinions. This page features a double header of developer interviews, diving into the creation of two distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left, we visit Hudson's workshop to explore the development of Far East of Eden, the Fourth Apocalypse. The focus here is heavily on the game's ambitious sound production, featuring discussions with the team, including producer Toshiyuki Sasagawa and composer Akira Takemoto, about using a live orchestra for the music recordings. It highlights the dedication to creating an immersive audio experience, and promotes the release of both the main soundtrack and a vocal selection CD. The right side jumps into a different realm, with a feature on Quo Vadis 2, a dramatic simulation RPG. This section includes interviews with the developer, Grams, and the highly acclaimed character designer, Haruhiko Mikimoto. Mikimoto, also responsible for this issue's cover art, discusses his approach to designing the game's characters, explaining his preference for creating intriguing male characters alongside attractive female leads, and sharing insights into bringing the game's world to life through his art. The game itself is described as a simulation RPG, where players command an exiled unit through a sprawling sci-fi narrative, complete with strategic combat shown in screenshots. This page dives deeper into Quo Vadis 2, showcasing its blend of high-quality anime and strategic simulation. The game features impressive cutscenes and in-game animations, crafted using anime soft technology, with acclaimed director Ichiro Itano, Sakano Ichiro, involved, bringing a dynamic visual flair to the battles. Gameplay is highlighted as a real-time tactical simulation, where players command units on various planets, utilizing terrain and unit positioning for offensive and defensive advantages. The strategic depth
comes from managing movement, combat range, and deploying special weapons within dynamic environments, with battlefield communications adding to the tension. The page also features an extensive interview with the development team from Grams, including director Kunji Otsubo and graphic designer Naoko Nagamine. They express satisfaction with the finished product, particularly praising the robust new system and the visual aspects, including the detailed animation and character expressions. The team discusses the importance of voice acting in conveying emotion and drama during combat, and how they work to create detailed facial expressions for characters based on their dialogue. They even tease the possibility of a Quo Vadis 3 exploring a different world. Overall, the developers emphasize the passion poured into the game's creation, aiming for a rich, dramatic simulation experience. The next page dives into the Sega Saturn game Martian successor Nadesico, continuing the ongoing report on this highly anticipated title. It highlights the game's blend of adventure, dating simulation, and strategic battle elements. A key focus is the dating aspect, where players can raise affection with the female crew members of the Nadesico through communication to unlock special date events. These interactions start from the protagonist Akito's room via communication and can lead to different scenarios based on the chosen character and setup. The page also details the crucial roles of the Nadesico crew members, explaining how their emotional state directly supports Akito, particularly influencing the battle mode. Characters like Jun, Seiya, Prospector, and Goat are shown, each contributing to the game's narrative and potentially affecting gameplay outcomes based on their relationship with Akito. Furthermore, a glimpse into the battle mode system is provided, described as a turn-based timing action system where accurate button inputs are vital for attacks, defense, and support. The affinity and emotional state of crew members are emphasized as important factors in supporting Akito during combat. The section titled Yamada Jiro's real name, Assertion, features Gai Daigoji, underscoring his impactful role in the story and battle segments, promising further excitement from his character. The page concludes by emphasizing the anticipation for the game's release. This page focuses on the highly anticipated Sega Saturn port of Last Bronx, a weapon-based 3D fighting game from Sega AM3. The page highlights the game's smooth development progress and accelerating excitement. It emphasizes that the hit detection is solid, and the Saturn version is aiming for arcade parity, allowing for similar intense matches. The article discusses the game's cast of unique characters, each wielding different weapons and offering distinct fighting styles. Screenshots showcase the polygonal models in action, demonstrating the combat mechanics and the game's visual progress. An interview with developer Akinobu Abe from Sega AM3 provides insight into the challenges of porting the arcade hit to the Saturn, particularly focusing on optimizing visuals and performance to recreate the arcade experience. He mentions the progress made in getting the core system, including hit detection and technical moves like throws and cancels, feeling like the arcade. Urgent news is also highlighted, confirming Last Bronx will be playable at the Tokyo Game Show, offering attendees a chance to experience the game firsthand and compare it to the arcade version. Basic game information like the genre and player count is also presented. This page introduces Jante Battle Cosplayer, a unique mahjong game coming to the Sega Saturn from Daiki in April '97. This isn't just any mahjong title. It's a competitive battle game where players face off against opponents who are either anime characters or real-life idols, all in vibrant cosplay. The game leverages the established Jante mahjong engine, known for its solid 4-player mahjong gameplay. What sets Battle Cosplayer apart is its diverse roster, featuring 18 anime characters brought to life by 3 prominent voice actors, alongside 8 different idols. The visual presentation mixes detailed anime character art with photos of the idols in their various cosplay outfits. It promises various gameplay modes, including competitive battles and potentially other minigames. The focus is clearly on collecting all the costumes by defeating opponents. Pre-order campaigns and release bonuses are highlighted, including exclusive posters and original crids, adding extra incentive for fans. The game continues the Jante series presence, with Daiki promoting the game at the Tokyo Game Show. This title aims to blend traditional mahjong mechanics with popular anime and idol culture on the Saturn. This page showcases 2 major SNK titles arriving on home consoles. On the left, the arcade hit Metal Slug, Super Vehicle 001 explodes onto the Sega Saturn. The page highlights the iconic vehicle and features character artwork, including the character Sophia. It confirms the game's compatibility with the Sega Saturn's expansion RAM cartridge, noting it as the 4th title to utilize this hardware enhancement. The game is set for release on April 4th, available as a standalone CD or bundled with the necessary RAM cartridge. The right side introduces Shinsetsu Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden, known internationally as Samurai Showdown RPG. A striking live-action image sets the tone, proclaiming the arrival of the samurai in Heisei era, and inviting players to become samurai.
This marks the birth of a samurai RPG.
The spread displays artwork of familiar characters from the fighting series, and screenshots that reveal the game's RPG mechanics, showing map exploration and battle sequences. The game is announced for the Neo Geo CD, with a June 27th release, with the Sega Saturn and PlayStation versions also planned for the same date. Both titles highlight SMIC's presence at the Tokyo Game Show '97 spring event. This page showcases a diverse lineup of upcoming titles from Atlus across Sega Saturn and PlayStation. On the left, a dark, atmospheric image teases a mysterious new project titled Minakata Hakudo. The striking Japanese text ponders the path forward from darkness, suggesting themes of hope or despair. This intriguing title from Atlus is announced for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn and is set to make its appearance at the Tokyo Game Show, building anticipation for what appears to be a departure from their typical fighting or RPG fare. The right side features advertisements for two distinct games. At the top is Groove on Fight, Guketsuji Ichizoku 3, known internationally as Power Instinct 3. Groove on Fight, arriving on the Sega Saturn. This fighting game continues the eccentric battles of the Guketsuji clan. Below that, Sega Saturn players get Tudge King the Spirits 2, the sequel in the racing series, likely known as Drift King, the Spirits 2 Overseas. The ad highlights a yellow car on a track and confirms the release date and price.
It also mentions an advanced goods campaign and other Atlus-related content like a video series.
This page presents two distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left is Unearthed Fantasy Stories, the first volume, a major RPG release from MediaWorks. Hailed as a revival and evolution of a famous RPG, it boasts rebuilt scenarios and over 50 new events by its original creators,
promising the ideal RPG experience.
Released on March 28th, it is also accompanied by a related novel, Unearthed Fantasy Stories, Avatar's Demonic Sword. On the right, Ving presents Harukaze Sensen V-Force, described as a beautiful girl strategy SLG, and the ultimate weapon. The dramatic text questions if these girls will become the planet's guardians. Scheduled for a June release, a special 3 Candelas package is available for 5,800 yen. Fans can also enjoy related media, including a soundtrack album, novelization, and a drama CD. A small section also details staff recruitment. This page showcases two upcoming Sega Saturn titles. On the left is Monster Slider, a unique slide-action puzzle game. It features charmingly rendered 3D characters and challenges players to use the L and R buttons to manipulate the game field, aiming for impressive chain reactions highlighted by the Great Chain Alert. The game promises immediate fun and a satisfying sliding experience, launching on March 28th for 5,800 yen. A special telephone card campaign is also mentioned. On the right, we find Digital Angel, Denno Tenshi SS, a beautiful girl adventure game set at the turn of the century. The artwork is stunning, depicting angelic and fallen angel characters.
The game promotes a multi-story and ending system, indicating narrative depth influenced by player choices.
It also hints at exciting mecha action sequences, featuring a large cast of 8 cute girls with a lineup of popular voice actors. This title explores themes of unknown angels and love. It was scheduled for release in late May, with an estimated price of 5,800 yen. Details about a related music CD are also provided. This page features two exciting upcoming releases for the Sega Saturn. On the left, we see the latest entry in the popular tactical RPG series, Langrisser IV. The focus here is on the anime-style character art, featuring Shelfani,
and highlighting new gameplay mechanics like the judgment value that influences turn actions.
It also boasts a large cast brought to life by over 30 voice actors.
The game promises deeper strategic battles building on the series' unique board game-like system.
To the right is Shinkai Gunkun, Deep Sea Fleet, a different kind of strategy game centered around large naval vessels. It pits players against the ambitious underground empire of Atlantis. A key innovation is the 3-layered battlefield encompassing air, surface, and underwater combat, adding significant strategic depth. Players manage their fleet in a campaign structure, upgrading units like the powerful battleship Rago, and deploying various forces including multi-battlers and hydroplane bombers to defend Earth in simulated battles across real-world locations. This page covers two vastly different upcoming Sega Saturn titles. On the left, we have Angelique Special 2, a continuation of the popular neo-romance series. Following up on the previous title, players again aim to become the next queen, but this time with the addition of 6 new Guardian candidates joining the original 9, offering even more romantic possibilities. The core gameplay revolves around raising the holy beast, Seiju, by borrowing power from the Guardians and other cooperators, all while managing relationships. You can date the Guardians, check compatibility, and even encounter a mysterious merchant selling rare items. The game features charming character art and a detailed simulation system for nurturing the holy beast and your relationships. A limited edition travel set is also highlighted, offering fans exclusive merchandise.
To the right, the page features Command & Conquer, a real-time strategy powerhouse. This title pits the Global Defense Initiative, GDI, against the Brotherhood of Nod in a futuristic war. The game is played in real time, requiring players to quickly build bases, gather resources, Tiberium, train units like minigunners, bazookas, and engineers, and command them to eliminate enemy forces and destroy their structures. You can choose to play as either faction, experiencing the story and missions from 2 different perspectives. The combat features various units and structures, like the construction yard, power plant, barracks, and Tiberium silo. High-quality movie sequences punctuate the gameplay, adding to the immersive experience of directing the conflict. The next page is dedicated to the explosive run-and-gun action of Metal Slug on the Sega Saturn, a direct port of the Neo Geo arcade hit. It emphasizes the faithful reproduction of the arcade experience, enhanced by the Saturn's capabilities and RAM cartridge support. The core gameplay revolves around battling through enemy territory to defeat General Morden, encountering various foes, bosses, and iconic vehicles like the Metal Slug itself, which offers significant firepower and defense. The page details the game's mechanics, including rescuing prisoners who provide helpful items, and acquiring powerful weapon upgrades, such as the heavy machine gun, rocket launcher, shotgun, and flame shot, each with unique properties. A major highlight is the Saturn version's inclusion of 3 distinct modes: the standard arcade mode, Arcade Plus Alpha, which adds features like stage selection after clearing, and the Combat School, offering specialized training challenges like high-score-focused pinpoint attack and distance-based survival attack. The Combat School modes even offer unlimited power-up ammo, adding a fresh twist. Finally, the page showcases an extensive art gallery featuring character, machine, and background designs from the game, plus exclusive Saturn content, totaling hundreds of detailed illustrations for fans to explore. This page features 2 very different games. On the left is Farland Story, Destruction's Dance, a turn-based simulation RPG, where you clear stages by achieving specific objectives, such as defeating a boss or reaching a destination. The game features tactical battles on maps, dialogue events driving the story, shops to buy equipment, and characters who level up through experience. The Saturn version adds mercenary units you can hire, and wide-range magic spells. The story centers around the 2 main protagonists, Riyadh and Sarina, as they face the impending dance of destruction and the encroaching empire. To the right is Sammy's Pachinko Twin, a simulation game focused on mastering pachinko. It accurately recreates 2 popular machines, CR Kudamono no Kimuri and CR Gagao Kids 4, with detailed graphics and mechanics. The game offers a comprehensive strategy mode, where you can study the machine's behaviors and adjust settings, and a simulation mode to practice under realistic conditions, even tracking income and expenses over a virtual year. There's even a super explosion mode for unlimited excitement. It's a deep dive for anyone looking to understand or practice pachinko strategy.
This page features 2 distinct multimedia titles. On the left is Emit Volume 2, Dark Hunter, the second entry in the English learning software series. This game blends animation drama with interactive English lessons. Players follow a story featuring high-quality animation directed by renowned staff, improving their English skills through dialogue and events. The game offers a drama mode to watch the story unfold, and a study mode to review conversations and practice. A key feature is the ability to switch between Japanese and English text and audio, allowing players to study unfamiliar phrases and improve pronunciation. The story follows 3 main characters, navigating events where English conversation is crucial, with opportunities to change perspectives and explore the narrative. On the right is Game Japanese History. Revolutionary Oda Nobunaga, a multimedia software that lets you learn about the famous historical figure Oda Nobunaga while playing. It combines animated sequences detailing Nobunaga's life and achievements with simulation game elements, particularly focusing on historical battles. The game includes a vast database of historical facts, allowing players to look up information about people, places, and events mentioned in the story or during gameplay. Players can experience significant battles from the Sengoku period, managing units, and utilizing strategy, with outcomes affecting the progression of Nobunaga's story towards unifying Japan. This page features two distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left is Actua Golf, a 3D golf simulation featuring polygon graphics for an immersive feel and a user-friendly shot system. Players can create their own characters, participate in various game modes like tournaments and practice, and review their shots from 15 different camera angles, making it easy to study their swings. On the right, Tokyo Shadow offers a mystery adventure experience utilizing live-action video. Set in Shibuya, players must uncover strange incidents and rescue a kidnapped lover from underground. The game features a multi-ending system with 48 variations, where player choices and exploration significantly alter the narrative and character developments. It incorporates intense, sometimes disturbing, FMV scenes, and introduces 3 heroines who aid the protagonist in this bizarre investigation. The next page features the Saturn Soft Impression section, highlighting new software releases from April 4th to April 11th. It introduces the 10 reviewers providing their feedback on these titles. Featured games include New Sea Command Fleet, a simulation game praised for its anime-style story, and Strategic Depth, with reviewers noting the satisfying feeling of commanding powerful units like the Leru. It received an average score of 5.8. Quo Vadis 2 is also reviewed, an RPG/simulation title where the real-time reports from subordinate units and the game's overall presentation, which feels very much like an anime, were standout points for reviewers. This title scored an average of 7.0. Angelique Special 2, a simulation game centered around managing characters and relationships, is reviewed, with comments focusing on the simplicity of the tasks and whether the game tempo improved from its predecessor. It earned an average score of 6.2. Finally, the classic arcade port Metal Slug is featured. Reviewers lauded the incredible artistic detail and animation but questioned if its pure arcade nature felt somewhat basic compared to other home console titles. Despite this, its intense action and detailed presentation were appreciated, resulting in a solid average score of 6.8. This page continues the Saturn Soft Impression section, featuring reviews for several diverse titles. First up is Command & Conquer, the iconic strategy game, which was reviewed positively for its detailed unit control and the ability to play from different perspectives, earning an average score of 5.6 despite reviewers noting the initial learning curve. Next is Tokyo Shadow, described more as a sound novel than a traditional adventure game, where story progression and character personalities change based on choices. It averaged a 5.8, with comments noting the blend of movie elements but some disappointment in the static visuals. We also see reviews for simulation games like Sankyo Fever, Real Simulation S, a pachinko simulator averaging 5.2, and Actua Golf, a simple golf game that scored 5.4, despite some feeling the controls were a bit stiff. Other reviewed titles include Farland Story Kyoku no Mai, an RPG with a simple system and linear story, receiving a 5.2 average, and 2 educational games, Dark Hunter, Upper Dimensional School, which teaches English through adventure elements, scoring 6.0, and Game Chronicle Revolutionary Leader Nobunaga Oda, an educational game about the famous historical figure, with a 5.6 average. This page continues the Saturn Soft Impression section, covering more diverse game releases. On the left, reviews are featured for the compilation title Puzzle Bobble 2X and Space Invaders, bringing 2 arcade classics together, and New Theme Park, a simulation sequel where you manage an amusement park with seasonal changes and various attractions. The reviewer roundtable continues discussing different titles, touching on the strategy elements of Quo Vadis 2 vs. Komicon and the visual impact of Metal Slug. The right side focuses heavily on the popular dating simulation series Tokimeki Memorial, highlighting a new drama CD series titled Rainbow Youth. It introduces the main characters like Shiori Fujisaki and previews content related to the upcoming release, including character visuals and screenshots. It also reports on a related event in Shibuya, featuring the voice cast from the series. This page showcases two distinct idol and dating simulation experiences. On the left, the second installment of the Idol de Doda section focuses on Hop Step, introducing male characters featured in the game. It provides profiles for Tsuyoshi Sawaguchi and Kohei Tamura, showing their character art, brief descriptions, and even glimpses into gameplay via screenshots with dialogue. A highlight is the reveal of the colorful Let's Go Volume 1 fan club newsletter cover featuring many character portraits, suggesting a large cast for this project. The right side ramps up the excitement for Live UP to Elf, due out soon. It presents character profiles for two heroines from the Kakusei series, Maki Midoritani and Mayumi Tachibana. Character artwork and descriptive text offer insights into their personalities, emphasizing their unique traits. While detailed personal statistics are present, the focus is clearly on these characters as romantic interests within the game's narrative. The page serves as a character deep dive and preview for both titles. This page is dedicated to a character strategy guide for Lion Raphael in Virtua Fighter 3. It introduces Lion as the youngest character in the game and focuses on his fundamental combat style and complex aerial combos. The guide is broken down into sections detailing key techniques. It explains how to initiate attacks effectively using moves like the downward pierce, discusses options after staggering an opponent including throws and follow-up attacks, and highlights various tricky aerial combos Lion can perform, noting the precise timing required for some. The page also contrasts Lion's forward dash with a standard escape maneuver, explaining the advantages of his dash for evading attacks. Finally, it provides advice on choosing follow-up attacks after specific combos like the claw uppercut. Screenshots throughout the page illustrate the techniques and demonstrate the visual difference between various moves and their effects on the opponent. The guide emphasizes Lion's strong, low attacks and strategic evasion as core elements of his gameplay. This page dives into the intensity of Sega's arcade hits. On the left, it's all about the thrilling goal-scoring opportunities in Virtua Striker 2, highlighting the desperate battles around the net. It explains shooting techniques, how to keep possession, keeper actions like punching saves, and the exciting goal rush feature, all illustrated with dynamic gameplay screenshots. The right side announces the results of the Guardian of Virtua City contest for Virtua Cop 2. This section reveals the top players from the high-score tournament held across different stages and the overall champion. It includes commentary from the AM2 development team chief, Koichi Sugino, offering insights into the winners' playstyles. Prizes for top scores include exclusive original CG artwork featuring Janet Marshall and various merchandise like Virtua Fighter 3 strategy guides and Virtua Striker 2 towels. This page features a follow-up report on Sega AM3's new arcade title, Top Skater. The article introduces the game's concept, which centers around stylish skateboarding action, where players perform various tricks within a time limit to score points. The game emphasizes the feeling of coolly racing and mastering tricks, stating that performing flashy actions earns higher scores. Basic controls are highlighted as accessible even for beginners, explaining jumps, carving, and slides are achieved through simple stick and button inputs. A notable feature is the collaboration with real-world shoe manufacturers who sponsor the game's characters. Illustrations showcase several characters alongside logos of brands such as Vans, Airwalk, Reef, Etnies, A.1, and A's, integrating authentic skateboarding culture into the game. The article also delves into the game's music, announcing that punk band Pennywise provides the soundtrack, featuring several of their songs, including instrumental versions specifically for the game. An interview with developer Mr. Sugano discusses the choice of skateboarding as a theme and the game's design philosophy focused on freedom and fun. A report on the Megatropolis Power Slam event confirms Top Skater was available for free play, drawing large crowds who enjoyed the music and atmosphere. This page features the recurring Hyper Ultec segment, showcasing reader-submitted tips and secrets for Sega Saturn games, ranked by their perceived usefulness. Highlighted tips include a complex input for a devastating combo in K1 Grand Prix 96, revealing hidden options like continues and a test mode in Sega Ages, Fantasy Zone, and methods to acquire specific cars and parts early in the racing game, Head Battle 97. Other secrets covered are a mode with altered character costumes in the puzzle game Zoku Gusun Oyoyo, an event where Carbuncle interrupts solo matches in Puyo Puyo Sun, costume changes for the character Patra in Cleopatra Fortune,
the appearance of a masked pilot in Assault Suit Lanos 2, and a simplified control scheme in Hypersecurity's Mid-S. The page also serves as a call for more fan submissions for future installments of the feature.
This page is a coming soon feature highlighting games showcased at the Tokyo Game Show 97. It covers the Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus, a compilation featuring classic Konami arcade shooters Life Force, the international version of Salamander, and Salamander 2, alongside the original Salamander. The article praises the collection for its faithful arcade ports, detailed graphics, sound design, and complex enemy AI, noting it's a must-have for fans of the series, and arcade accuracy. Screenshots display intense space combat and large bosses.
Also featured is 3 Dirty Dwarves, an action beat-em-up starring 3 unlikely heroes. Players control the dwarves who use unconventional weapons like baseball bats and bowling balls to smash through enemies in comedic combat. The game supports cooperative play and features special combined attacks. Screenshots show urban environments and strange creatures. Finally, Groove on Fight, part of the Power Instinct fighting series, is previewed. It introduces a unique tag team battle system allowing players to freely switch between characters during combat and use support attacks from off-screen teammates. This adds strategic depth to the fights, enabling powerful dual attacks and tactical retreats. Screenshots show intense battles with dynamic character art and vibrant backgrounds. This page continues the coming soon coverage from the Tokyo Game Show, featuring a diverse lineup of upcoming titles. This section previews games including a shooting game based on the classic Time Bokan series, the horse racing simulation Stake Winner 2, the 3D billiards game Side Pocket 3, a J.League soccer title, and a 3D Go game. The Time Bokan shooter puts players in control of heroes from the popular anime series to defeat iconic villains like the Doranbo gang. Screenshots show colorful characters and chaotic shooting action. Stake Winner 2 is a horse racing simulation, offering both arcade-style gameplay and a detailed training mode where players can raise their own horses. Screenshots highlight realistic race visuals and menu screens for training and stats. Side Pocket 3 brings the classic billiards game into 3D, with polygonal graphics and motion-captured player movements. It features various game modes, including a story mode with distinct opponents like Tokiwa Noriko, Zaizen Aya, and Kirishima Reina. Screenshots show different table views and character portraits. J.League Go! Go! Goal! Is a soccer game focusing on motion-captured player movement for smooth control, allowing detailed adjustments for running and stopping. Screenshots show on-field action. Finally, Go! Professional is a Go game presented with adjustable 3D camera perspectives and various board and background options for a personalized experience. Screenshots display the game board and menu interfaces. This page dives into the upcoming Tokyo Game Show 97 spring event, highlighting what attendees can expect. It announces the show will feature over 104 game makers and showcase more than 400 titles at Tokyo Big Sight on April 5th and 6th. Promising the chance to play hot new software early. Featured games include Mega Man X4, detailing the ability to play as both X and Zero, with combat mechanics tailored to each character like X's Buster and Zero's Z-Saber, promising dynamic stage progression depending on who you choose. Screenshots show action-packed platforming. Eternal Melody is also previewed, a simulation game from the staff behind Eternal Melody, featuring character art and event scenes. Gameplay revolves around helping the heroine manage her house and interacting with characters like Chiho and Rule. The must-see section points out titles like the sound novel Mashi, the horror adventure Kuro no Dansho, Resident Evil confirming a playable demo for Saturn, and Virus, an adventure game collaboration between Hudson and Sega. Additionally, a section on new title trends mentions Puzzle Bobble 2X plus Space Invaders, combining 2 classic games into one package. It also introduces the Sega Saturn collection, a budget series launching with hits like Virtua Fighter 2 and Galactic Attack. The page notes the determination of the SEGA Award 96 at the show, highlighting Sakura Wars as a winner. It also mentions the new official name for the merged Sega and Bandai companies. A map provides access information for the venue. This page continues the deep dive into the Tokyo Game Show 97 spring, building on the overview from the previous page by detailing the vibrant events and showcasing a massive list of upcoming Saturn games. The event was packed with activities beyond just playing games. Special stage events were a major draw, featuring popular creators like Shigeru Miyamoto, Kenji Ino,
and Joji Shinotsuka, participating in conferences and talk shows during Creators Day on April 5th. April 6th was Characters Day, highlighted by voice actor battles and live performances, a cosplay parade and contest, and a charity auction hosted by talent Okuyama Yoshi. The page includes a schedule of these stage events, showcasing the variety from technical discussions to fan interaction. Individual game company booths also hosted unique events, with various publishers offering demo play sessions, quizzes, mini-talk shows, and opportunities to interact with game staff and cosplayers. This added another layer of engagement for attendees.
The core of the page is an extensive list of Saturn software being exhibited at the show. This detailed list includes titles, genres, and how they were presented, playable demos, video demos, panel displays, etc. It confirms the sheer volume and diversity of games on the horizon for the Saturn, covering everything from action and RPGs to simulations and unique Japanese genres, offering a glimpse into the Saturn's strong lineup at the time. This page is an incredibly comprehensive release calendar detailing the upcoming lineup for the Sega Saturn. It lays out month by month, starting from March 1997, the flood of new software players could expect. The page even includes sections for releases planned for spring, summer, autumn 1997, the end of 1997, spring 1998, and games with currently undecided release dates. As an expert, seeing this density of titles is exciting. It includes a huge variety of games from major publishers and developers like Capcom, Konami, Sega, Data East, and many more. Spanning genres from fighting games like Marvel Superheroes, action titles like Metal Slug, to RPGs such as Grandia, and even unique Japanese sim and adventure games. The calendar notes which titles are brand new additions to the schedule, and which have had their release dates adjusted, offering fans crucial information on the Saturn's vibrant future. It's clear from the sheer volume here that the platform had tremendous support, and a packed schedule of releases on the horizon. The next page previews the upcoming issue number 8 of Saturn Fan, scheduled for release on April 11th, promising faster and more detailed Tokyo Game Show coverage among other new titles. The left column contains standard magazine sections like an editor's note, contact information, and guidance on reading the magazine's game specification tables. A game index lists titles covered with page numbers. The main feature focuses on Classic Road, a horse racing simulation game that's currently popular and on sale. The game aims to be the pinnacle of the genre, letting players train racehorses from 1988 to 1996, compete in classic races against famous real-life horses, and even features a 4-player mode. Screenshots showcase various game aspects like the map, paddock views, and race simulations, highlighting the detailed data available for evaluating horses. Below that, another feature highlights Sea Bass Fishing 2, an upcoming fishing simulation with 3D graphics promising realistic visuals and exciting action, focusing on catching giant sea bass. It's scheduled for release on April 25th. The bottom section provides details about the Tokyo Game Show 97 spring event, listing key exhibitors including Victor Software. This page features 2 upcoming Sega Saturn titles. On the left we have Mobile Suit Z Gundam Part 1, Z's Pulse, marking the iconic anime series debut on the platform. It promises a faithful adaptation of the complex human drama and story from the TV show, presented as a shooting game with an enhanced system. It's set for a late April release at 6,800 yen, and initial copies come with a limited package and a chance to win production cell artwork used in the game. The right side showcases Magical Hoppers, a 3D fantasy action game. It highlights dynamic action like jumping, running, and magic attacks through its screenshots. The game boasts a multi-angle system, with voluminous 3D stages and varying camera views to provide thrills. Also releasing in late April for 6,800 yen, Magical Hoppers is promoting a unique dream campaign, where they promise to grant dreams within a budget of 100 million yen for 100 winners to celebrate its release. This page is dedicated to the strategic simulation game, Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium: Rise and Fall of the Thousand-Year Empire, presenting an operation planning guide for players. The striking artwork features a stern-looking military officer alongside silhouettes of charging soldiers, set against a background suggestive of conflict and the Nazi eagle symbol, reinforcing the game's probable alternate history, or World War II theme. The guide section prominently announces the full release of map data of dreams and ambitions, indicating it will provide detailed strategic insights. This guide, published as part of Saturn Fan,
aims to give players the tactical edge needed to navigate the game's complex scenarios. It's clear this title offers a deep strategic experience focused on large-scale conflict. This page dives deeper into the strategic complexities of Advanced World War. Last of the Millennium, expanding on the operational guide from the previous page. It prominently features a comprehensive campaign branching chart, illustrating the game's structure across its many scenarios. The chart visually maps out the progression from one battle map to the next, indicating points where players make choices that affect the path of their campaign, branching choice, and moments where the narrative dictates the next battle regardless of player success, forced branching. The page also provides a full list of the game's impressive 54 maps, each representing a specific scenario or battle within the conflict, such as the Warsaw Offensive or the Battle of Stalingrad. While not detailing every single map, it lays out the sheer scale of the strategic options and potential campaign paths available. Furthermore, the page includes a guide on how to interpret the map symbols and data presented during gameplay, crucial for understanding tactical information like general placement and reinforcement conditions. This simulation title offers a deep strategic experience, supporting up to 4 players, making it a serious contender for tactical enthusiasts on the Sega Saturn. This document provides strategic guidance for Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium, focusing on 4 scenarios. Operation White, Invasion of Poland, emphasizes efficient movement and concentrated force due to the limited turns. The Siege of Warsaw, featuring a stronger enemy, requires linking up with German forces, leveraging Renault featuring 17 tank durability and air support. The Schlieffen Plan, Invasion of the Low Countries, stresses initial Air Force deployment and paratrooper use. Finally, the Manstein Plan, Invasion of France through the Ardennes, highlights the importance of a rapid advance, aiming to quickly reach key points for encirclement against a larger enemy force. Each section details participating forces, unit counts, generals, like Guderian and Reinhardt, and reinforcement conditions, giving players comprehensive tactical information. This page details 2 scenarios from the game Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium. The first, Paris Defense, Map 05, emphasizes the critical need for a thorough map survey and strategic air unit placement, recommending a push through the center where enemy resistance is lighter compared to the right flank. The second scenario, Sedan Breakthrough, Map 06, highlights the importance of rapid movement to achieve victory within the turn limit, suggesting that fortified positions can be bypassed. While the map is similar to the previous one, unit starting positions differ, with your ground forces beginning near the center. Effective use of supporting units and indirect attack forces is advised for this scenario. Both sections provide information on participating forces like German Army Group A, French and British forces, list recommended generals including Guderians, Reinhardt and Kesselring, and include tables showing unit compositions. The page features detailed maps illustrating the terrain and initial unit layouts for each battle. This page delves into 2 more scenarios from Advanced World War. First, the Brest Breakthrough, Map 07, emphasizes a rapid advance focusing on infantry and generals to overwhelm enemy strongholds while suppressing resistance. Given the limited enemy organized resistance, a swift victory is crucial. The map shows a region centered around Brest, France, with various towns and terrain features. Recommended generals include Kluge and Kesselring. Next is the Battle of Britain, Map 08, an air war focused on destroying enemy strongholds from the sky. The strategy here is largely a war of attrition between fighter units, while bomber units target objectives. Coordinating air sorties in groups and using night attacks to avoid anti-aircraft fire is advised to preserve Focke-Wulf units. The map displays Britain and the English Channel, featuring key locations like London, Bristol, and Plymouth. Recommended generals include Kluge, Kesselring, Richthofen, and Molders. This page features 2 more scenarios from the strategy game Advanced World War. First up is Map 09, titled Operation Sea Lion. This scenario focuses on a full-scale naval battle in the English Channel. The primary objective is to destroy the enemy fleet. While capturing bases requires landing ground units, the initial stronghold, Brighton, is crucial but lacks a city. Success hinges on effectively using bomber units against the enemy fleet after securing the port. Recommended generals include Raeder, Donitz, and Kesselring. The map displays the English coast and French coast facing the Channel, with key ports like Dover, Calais, and Portsmouth. Next is Map 11,
Conqueror of the Mediterranean. This scenario presents a combined air and naval campaign in the central Mediterranean. The absolute first priority is eliminating the enemy air force, particularly those based on islands, as the enemy lacks carriers. Maintaining air support is vital for the subsequent naval engagements. Direct attacks are best handled by cruisers and battleships, while submarines offer valuable raiding capabilities. The map shows the Mediterranean Sea, including North Africa and Italy, dotted with naval units and strategic ports. Recommended generals include Italian and German Army and Air Force commanders. This page showcases two diverse scenarios, one focusing purely on naval and limited land operations in the English Channel, and another combining air and sea power struggles in the Mediterranean with an emphasis on air superiority. The next page features two more scenarios from the strategy game Advanced World War. First is Map 12, the defense of Halfaya Pass, an 18-turn defensive scenario where unit placement is crucial. British reinforcements arrive early on turns 2 and 3, requiring strategic decisions on how to deploy your generals and forces, either supporting the Italians in the south or intercepting the enemy in the north. Central placement of air units is advised for maximum coverage. Recommended leaders and units include Rommels, the Erudite Tank Division, and Standard Army/Air Force generals. Reinforcements arrive on turns 3 and 4 at specific coordinates. The map shows the desert area around Bardia, Sidi Aziz, and Tobruk. Following that is Map 13, the Battle of El Alamein, a 20-turn scenario where you initially face superior numbers. Reinforcements arrive later, from turn 6 onwards, with additional units depending on reaching certain map points by turn 11. The strategic advice is to rapidly deploy on both fronts, specifically using Rommels to break through the southern British lines before pushing north. Recommended forces are the same as the previous scenario. The unit setup details the initial forces for the Africa Corps and the British 13th and 30th Corps. The map depicts the eastern desert region, including Alexandria and El Daba. Advanced World War features two scenarios. Map 15, the 20-turn Tobruk attack, focusing on encircling Tobruk. Players choose to support Italian forces in the south or attack British headquarters in the north. Key units include Rommels and the Erudite Tank Division. Map 17, the 11-turn Mediterranean supply line, emphasizes rapid air power use to capture Malta and sink the enemy fleet before reinforcements arrive. Dispersing naval forces and using radar units are crucial. Key units include Italian landing divisions. Both scenarios include maps, initial unit counts, and details on reinforcement arrival times. But strategic considerations are paramount. This page dives into two more strategic scenarios from Advanced World War. On the left is Map 18, the Gazala Box Attack, a 20-turn land battle set in May 1942. The objective is to capture the enemy base efficiently. The suggested strategy emphasizes selecting the right general, encircling enemy fortresses with Italian troops, and attacking from the east. Players should prioritize destroying enemy armored units and headquarters, but capturing the base within the turn limit is paramount, so a swift advance is crucial. The table shows the breakdown of forces, including the Africa Corps and British divisions. On the right is Map 19, the Mediterranean Sea Battle, an 11-turn naval scenario from August 1942, titled Feint Operation to Get Behind. The goal is to destroy enemy forces and capture two bases. A major challenge is countering the enemy's strong air power, attacking your fleet. The strategy involves protecting your ships with anti-air support, using submarines to disrupt enemy formations, and then moving your main fleet to capture the objectives while the enemy is distracted. The table details the Italian and British naval forces involved, and reinforcements arrive on turn 3. This page continues the look into scenarios from Advanced World War, presenting two more strategic challenges. On the left is Map 20, the Battle of Alam el-Halfa, a 20-turn land battle set in September 1942. The primary objective is to concentrate forces and break through the central enemy line. The strategy suggests this is difficult initially, requiring a swift advance to breach defenses before enemy reinforcements arrive on turn 9. Players commanding Rommel and Italian forces must contend with strong indirect fire and will need air reconnaissance. The table outlines the forces involved, including the Africa Corps and British 30th and 13th Corps, along with their strengths and objectives. On the right is Map 21, titled Opportunity Spring Wind Operation, based on the Kasserine Pass battle in February 1943, lasting 18 turns. This map is large,
with 4 generals under the player's command, including Rommel and Arnim. The goal is to formulate a detailed advance plan to efficiently deal with the enemy within the turn limit. The recommended route is to capture Kasserine Pass first, then have Rommel and Arnim target Lekef, while your main force pushes north, ultimately linking up to surround Constantine. German reinforcements are triggered by reaching a specific map coordinate. The table details the units participating, such as the Africa Corps, British vs. Corps, and American II Corps. Both scenarios are illustrated with map views showing the terrain and starting unit dispositions.
This page continues the look at the strategic scenarios available in Advanced World War. On the left is Map 22, Retreat from Sicily, a 25-turn battle starting in July 1943. The challenge here is to preserve your valuable units and link them up successfully for a counterattack amidst a difficult situation. As Italian forces retreat, you'll command various Army and Air Force elements, including the Italian 6th Army. The section details reinforcement conditions and lists the participating forces. On the right is Map 23, Italian Peninsula Fierce Battle, covering the Anzio campaign from May 1944 over 20 turns. Despite a tough situation, victory is possible by effectively reorganizing dispersed units under generals like Kesselring and Fover. The strategy involves capturing Anzio with your main force, holding the north, and pushing south with other units to defeat the enemy. Playable commanders include Kesselring and Foles. This section also lists reinforcement conditions and the involved forces. Both scenarios are illustrated with map views showing the battlefield layouts and initial unit placements. The next page continues exploring the scenarios available in Advanced World War. On the left is Map 24, the Normandy Coastal Defense Battle, a 20-turn scenario starting on June 6, 1944. It describes a difficult situation where continuous enemy reinforcements land. The strategy emphasizes concentrating your forces on either the left or right flank to meet the invaders, rather than scattering your defenses. Playable generals include Rommel and Hauser. The section details reinforcement conditions and lists the participating German forces. On the right is Map 25, the Autumn Frost Operation, covering the Battle of the Bulge, a 30-turn battle beginning December 16, 1944, played in snowy conditions. Although outnumbered, Germany possesses a qualitative advantage in units. The key is to quickly break through by leveraging your unit's performance. The recommended strategy involves having your general and Manteuffel head west to flank, while other forces engage the enemy head-on for a surrounding maneuver. Playable generals include Model, Manteuffel, Dietrich, and Skorzeny. Reinforcement conditions and a list of participating forces are also provided. Both sections include a map view showing the battlefield layout for each scenario. The next page dives deeper into more scenarios for Advanced World War. On the left is the Balkan Invasion Operation, Map 31, a 25-turn scenario starting April 6, 1941. It highlights the challenge of mountain warfare, recommending a focus on infantry for navigating the terrain. While capturing cities like Kragujevac and Belgrade might be straightforward, pushing toward Sarajevo and Dubrovnik through the mountains is described as difficult. On the right is Operation Barbarossa Activation, Map 32, a 25-turn battle kicking off on June 22, 1941. This scenario suggests the enemy's core force of infantry and artillery isn't particularly tough, but issues a specific warning about encountering the formidable KVI tank. Players can utilize famous generals like Guderians, Hoth, Kluge, Kesselring, and possibly Melders. The strategy is to overrun the enemy quickly, but advises caution regarding reinforcements arriving around the 10th turn. Both sections include map views of the respective battlefields. This page presents 2 more scenarios for Advanced World War. On the left is the Smolensk Attack Battle, Map 33. A 20-turn fight starting July 1, 1941. German forces have the initial advantage, but you'll face continuous Soviet reinforcements, making dispersed units risky. The advice is to keep your forces concentrated around your generals and be wary of the formidable KV-2 heavy tanks. You can utilize generals like Hoth, Kluge, Guderian, Kesselring, and Molders. Reinforcements, including generals, arrive at various turns throughout the scenario. The map shows the battlefield with units and points like Smolensk and Army headquarters. On the right is Moscow Road, Map 34, running for 20 turns from September 1, 1941. The primary challenge here is dealing with the Soviet tank deployment and the large river on the right flank.
The game highlights the threat posed by Soviet tanks on this map, suggesting air support is crucial for ground offensives. Friendly reinforcements arrive around turn 7, which is recommended as the point for a decisive push. Generals like Hopner, Kluge, Hoth, and Richthofen are available. Reinforcements, including generals, appear at specific turn intervals.
The map displays the route to Moscow with locations like Kalinin and Vyazma marked.
The next page continues with scenarios for Advanced World War, diving deeper into the challenges on the Eastern Front. On the left we have Map 35, The End of Barbarossa. This 30-turn scenario, starting in October 1941, throws you into a tough fight where the enemy receives continuous reinforcements. The key here is to systematically break through their lines, sector by sector, focusing on destroying enemy units while minimizing your own casualties. You'll command generals like Kluge, Hopner, and Weeks, with reinforcements, including more generals, arriving throughout the battle. The map centers around the approach to Moscow, showing key objectives like the Kremlin. On the right is Map 36, Kiev Encirclement Battle, a 30-turn scenario starting in September 1941. Unlike the previous one, neither side gets reinforcements here, making the initial setup critical. The strategic advantage leans towards the German forces, but be aware that your friendly AI-controlled units might not always act as you'd hope. The strategy is a classic encirclement. Slowly advance, tighten the ring around the enemy, and annihilate them. Air support is crucial, so make sure to concentrate your air power effectively. You'll have generals like Kleist, Reichenau, and Kesselring at your disposal. The map shows the area around Kiev, highlighting the strategic points you need to capture.
This page continues our look at scenarios in Advanced World War, focusing further on the Eastern Front battles. On the left is Map 37, the Vyazma Offensive's Defense, a 30-turn scenario starting in October 1941. The situation is noted as similar to Map 34, emphasizing the effective use of your own reinforcements. The strategy suggests placing a white general on the left flank and attacking together. Allied reinforcements arrive on turn 5 to help clear out remaining enemies. Generals like Hopner, Kluge, Hoth, and Kesselring are available, with additional generals arriving later. The map shows the area around Vyazma, including objectives like Moscow. The right side features Map 38, Operation Typhoon, a 25-turn battle beginning in November 1941, marked by initial snow. This map is geographically close to Map 35, with the enemy concentrating forces. The crucial strategy here is to push rapidly towards the Kremlin and capture strongholds before significant enemy reinforcements arrive on turn 15. Success hinges on destroying the enemy's main force quickly. Generals including Kluge and Hopner are available. The map depicts the wintry landscape leading up to Moscow and the Kremlin itself. Both scenarios detail unit compositions for the involved factions.
This page continues our deep dive into the strategic game Advanced World War, showcasing 3 more challenging scenarios from the Eastern Front. First up is Map 39, the Battle of the Southern Army Group. This is a swift 15-turn engagement on a compact 16 by 16 map, kicking off in June 1941 near Lviv. The strategy here emphasizes smart general placement and leveraging the powerful KV-1 tanks to break the enemy line. Key generals include Hopner, Kesselring, Kleist, and Reichenau. Next, we move to Map 40, the Battle of the Dnieper River, a longer 35-turn scenario starting in September 1941 on a large 32 by 32 map. The focus is on overcoming a river barrier and destroying enemy headquarters.
Repairing bridges and utilizing bomber support are highlighted as crucial tactics. You'll have generals like Hopner, Kesselring, Kleist, and Reichenau at your command. Finally, the page details Map 43, the intense Battle of Stalingrad City. Beginning in August 1942, this 20-turn battle takes place on a 16 by 16 urban map. It's characterized by overwhelming Soviet numbers, difficult terrain due to snow, and limited air support. The recommended approach is to use artillery to soften targets before assaulting enemy strongholds. Generals available include Hopner, Paulus, and Rommel. Each scenario description is accompanied by helpful visuals, including screenshots of the map layouts and glimpses of in-game unit information. Data tables summarizing force compositions are also present for each battle. The next page continues our look at the challenging Eastern Front scenarios in Advanced World War, presenting 2 more strategic puzzles. First up is Map 41, the Battle of Rostov, kicking off in October 1941. This 25-turn scenario is played on a 32 by 32 map under rainy conditions, which significantly impacts unit deployment. The key strategy involves a central breakthrough towards Donetsk, then splitting forces to capture Rostov and Voroshilovgrad, all while being prepared for engagement with the Soviet 12th Army approaching from the northwest. Control is given to generals such as Hopner, Kesselring, Kleist, and Reichenau, with German 4th Army reinforcements arriving later under specific map conditions. Next is Map 42, Operation Blue, set in July 1942. Also a 25-turn battle on a 32 by 32 map. This scenario emphasizes the difficult balance between destroying enemy forces and making rapid advances. The guide stresses that with limited turns, a careful approach is needed, prioritizing the elimination of strong enemy concentrations around cities using armored and infantry units. Faster units can push forward, but weaker enemy forces can sometimes be bypassed entirely to save time. Generals available include Hopner, Paulus, Hoth, and Richthofen, with German 2nd Army reinforcements arriving on turn 10. Both scenarios are accompanied by map visuals illustrating the key battle areas and details on initial force compositions and reinforcement triggers. This page delves deeper into the strategic challenges presented in Advanced World War, focusing on two more intense Eastern Front scenarios. First up is Map 46, the Winter Storm Operation, kicking off in December 1942. This scenario on a 32 by 32 map, under snowy conditions, requires careful maneuvering. The key strategy revolves around using isolated units, particularly those in Stalingrad, as decoys to tie up enemy forces and minimize attrition. Meanwhile, the main thrust should be a rapid, unified advance northwards to achieve a breakthrough as quickly as possible. Available generals include Manstein and Paulus. Next is Map 47, the Red Army Counteroffensive, set in February 1943. This scenario, on a 32 by 32 map under snowy conditions, emphasizes the need to be wary of the enemy's increased use of new weapons, like the Su-122. The guide suggests pushing forward cautiously, but notes that attacking points near rivers can be difficult. A recommended tactic is to have units flank the enemy from the rear after crossing mountainous terrain. Generals available include Manstein, Hoth, and Richthofen, with reinforcements arriving on turn 6. Both sections provide details on the various objectives and control points required for victory for different factions. This page continues our look at the challenging scenarios in Advanced World War, featuring two more intense battles on the Eastern Fronts. First up is Map 48, the Lost Victory scenario, taking place during the Battle of Kursk in July 1943. The situation is described as unfavorable, and achieving total enemy annihilation by the 25-turn limit is a tough ask. The core strategy advised is a defensive approach, holding strong points to absorb enemy pressure and minimize your own casualties. The goal is to use a small, elite force to punch through the enemy lines, then gradually reduce the opposing forces while advancing. A straightforward German offensive isn't likely to succeed here. Next is Map 49, the Dnieper River Defense Battle from August 1943. This scenario is framed as finding light within the defense. Facing a concentrated enemy, eliminating them entirely is presented as almost impossible. The focus shifts to a strong defensive posture, simply holding the line against relentless attacks. Reinforcements will arrive throughout the battle, making the defense about protecting crucial supply points as units are fed in. The game details the specific turns and units arriving, providing needed support for the defensive effort. Both scenarios outline the generals available to command and the specific conditions required to achieve victory. This page continues the detailed guide to the strategic scenarios in Advanced World War, focusing on two more challenging battles on the Eastern Front in 1945. First is Map 50, titled Prelude to the End, set on January 17, 1945, lasting 30 turns. The scenario favors the player initially, but the enemy receives significant reinforcements as turns pass. The key strategy is not just pushing forward, but quickly securing strongholds, while strategically positioning your own forces in the rear to intercept these incoming enemy units. The table shows unit types and counts for each side. Next is Map 51, Operation Spring Awakening, taking place on March 6, 1945, with a tight 15-turn limit. The map is dominated by muddy terrain, severely hindering tank movement. The enemy relies heavily on infantry,
and reinforcements arrive constantly, making the limited turns a major challenge. The recommended approach is to use armor cautiously and leverage your infantry, emphasizing that air power can be decisive if the weather holds. The page also explains that some maps allow players to freely choose where to deploy their generals. It advises considering the location of other friendly generals and being cautious about placing Air Force generals too close to enemy lines at the start. The images show the maps for these scenarios and a screen demonstrating the general placement option.
This page continues the strategic guide for Advanced World War, detailing 2 more challenging scenarios on the Eastern Front. First, Map 52, End of Ambition, throws you into the desperate defense of Berlin in late April 1945. This 30-turn scenario puts you in control of 2 generals for the German and Berlin garrison forces against overwhelming Soviet numbers. Your objective is twofold and described less as a strategy and more as a gamble. You must defend one key stronghold, like the Reichstag or Führerbunker, to avoid defeat, while simultaneously using your other general to launch an offensive or risk being lost. The map reflects the urban chaos of Berlin under siege. Next, Map 54, Soviet Invasion, takes you back to May 1941 for a 25-turn scenario focusing on the advance towards Minsk. Despite facing larger numbers, your German forces, specifically Army Group Center, hold a significant qualitative advantage, making this scenario favorable if you employ basic tactics. The recommended strategy involves a small probing force diverting the enemy, while the main body concentrates centrally before fanning out. You'll have access to famed generals like Guderian and Hoth for this advance against the Soviet Western and Northwestern fronts.